Hello again. The topic of reparations for slavery is, as they say, a hot one at the moment. Both in America and Britain, there are moves afoot for official recognition of the suffering of black Africans who were taken from their own continent against their will and sent into slavery thousands of miles away. This was, of course, a dreadful business, but it all took place hundreds of years ago and wasn't carried out by anybody living today. White people being required to pay reparations for this by giving money to the descendants of those people taken from Africa means that we, who did nothing to anybody, are being expected to give money to other people to whom nothing was done. Put in this way, it sounds absurd, which of course it is. However, in the wake of the Black Lives Matter disturbances and the pulling down of statues and all the rest of it, such reparations fit in neatly with the spirit of the times. They'll have to be paid from our taxes, of course, which with the financial state of this country at the moment is likely to cause serious problems. But Caribbean nations have already been half promised large sums of money in this cause from Britain. The latest instance of this bizarre phenomenon is that the Church of England has decided that because hundreds of years ago they had investments in the South Sea Island Company, that that gives them a moral obligation to hand over money now to black people. When did they have these investments? Well, the South Sea Company's main commercial activity was between 1714 and 1739, as far as slavery was concerned. So we're talking of things which happened 300 years ago. The idea that the church should now hand over compensation, and they've agreed on a sum of £100 million for this from their sins. Apparently, they're talking in terms of compensating for their sins 300 years ago. This is a stupendously large sum of money and one which would effectively bankrupt the Anglican Church in this country. Because of declining membership, the Church of England has been struggling desperately in recent years financially. The latest census found that fewer than half the people in this country now regard themselves as Christians, and the number of those actually attending church has been in free fall since the millennium. Churches are being closed, there's no money to pay for the salaries of vicars, and in country areas, one vicar often has to run two or three churches. As a result, many churches are in debt. The amounts of these deficits, all told, comes to something like £24 million, which the central office of the Church of England in London says it cannot afford to pay. In other words, they cannot spare £24 million to save local parish churches from ruin, but are now planning to send 4 times as much of this to the Caribbean as a way of saying sorry for something which happened 300 years ago. I do hope that makes sense. This is only the beginning of a huge financial enterprise which is getting underway both in this country and the United States. In California, plans are well advanced to give every single black person there $223,000. That is to say, over £180,000. I'm glad I'm not paying taxes in California. This is an idea whose time has come, and black people themselves are now pushing hard for this agenda because they realise that it may well be the case soon that they will, in effect, be winning the lottery. It seems especially unfair in the United States because I seem to recollect that all the slaves there have already been generously compensated. Didn't they each get 40 acres and a mule after the end of the Civil War? In the description to this video, I give links to news items about this business, and I can tell viewers that this is only the start of a grand project whose cost will be, well, I won't say infinite, but I will say incalculably large. As I say, it means essentially that we who were not involved in slavery are being asked to pay large sums of money to people who were never slaves. This is a shakedown, and we really should have the courage to refuse to pay up.